In this video, we're going to go ahead, remove and replace our fuel pump and sending unit assembly. We're going to go ahead and start by removing the fuse for the fuel pump. We're going to go ahead and access that through the driver's side door and going up underneath the dashboard. Up underneath the dash, you're going to locate your fuse box right here. And we want to go ahead and locate our fuse for the fuel pump. It's this blue one right in the middle. There's 3 of them. There's a blue one in the middle. I want to go ahead and remove that. Gently wiggle that out with a pair of pliers. That's our unit right there. I'm just going to sit that on the console. We're done underneath the dash for now. Now at this point here, we want to go ahead and try and start the vehicle. Now if your vehicle runs, you want to go ahead and let it run until it stalls out. The purpose of that is to burn out any of the fuel out of the fuel line. We already removed the fuse for the fuel pump, so the pump should not pumping any fuel. Next, we want to go ahead and open up your gas cap door here and unscrew the gas cap. Using our 10mm, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the ground terminal on our battery here. And loosen that. Just going to spin this off. And just tuck that off to the side. Underneath the hood, on the driver's side, you're going to find the fuel line right here. And there's a quick connect right here. There's a little locking cover. We are going to disconnect the fuel line there. So I'm going to put some towels underneath here to catch any sort of residual gas that might come out of that line. I want to go ahead and press in on this clip. Pop that off like so. We'll just set that aside for now. I'm going to go ahead and use some safety glasses. Always important when using something that could be pressurized or have some residual pressure in it. And there's these blue little spring tabs right here. You're going to pinch it on this. And we want to disconnect the fuel line. So we're going to pinch it and wiggle that there. You can see it popped off and a little bit of gas popped out. I'm going to leave the towels here. Now on the second row seat, you want to go ahead and slide everything forward. You want to access these plastic covers here. And go ahead and use your trim tool. I'm going to lift these components up and out. Just got to remove our center cover here. The side pieces here actually go out and away. We're going to use our 15mm socket and we're going to loosen the bolts holding down our track. Don't want to remove these yet because we want to stabilize the track so we can move that seat around. Let's go ahead and get the one on the driver's side. Thread that in a couple threads. Now in front of the second row seating in the center position here, you're going to have the split row seating. I want to go ahead and loosen and remove this bolt right here. Spin that out. We're just going to put that on the carpet for now. And the driver's side front portion right here, there's going to be an access cover. We're going to use our trim tool. Go ahead and pop that off. You're going to access another bolt right here. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove that. With these 2 front bolts removed, let's go ahead and slide our seat forward and actually remove the 2 bolts in the back. Go ahead and just remove this. Set that aside. Let's go ahead and repeat for the inboard one. At this point here, you can simply go ahead and take the seat and we're just going to tip it forward. I'm going to rest this up. I'm going to go ahead and use an anchoring strap. Just go around the front seat headrest. And this is just going to keep our seat from rocking back on top of us. The other option is to go ahead and remove the entire back seat from the vehicle. That chances are it's going to require 2 people, but if you're working solo, this will be perfect. With the seat pulled up, I'm going to go ahead and access this access port through the carpet. And this is going to reveal the fuel pump and sending unit cover here. There are 3 Phillips head screws. Use your screwdriver. Go ahead, loosen and remove the 3 screws. It's always a good choice to go ahead and use your vacuum to clean up any debris that's around here, because we don't want to have stuff fall down into the area we're going to be working. Let's go ahead and remove these screws. And set those aside. Now we place down some pads around here because we are going to be pulling out the fuel pump sending unit. We don't want to get residual gas on our carpet. With the screws removed, you want to go ahead and pull up on this cover. You might be able to use a plastic trim tool. Go ahead and pop that up. We also want to go ahead and loosen up our grommet here. This has the wiring harness that goes through it. So we're just going to work this here. Use our trim tool. We just want to separate this from the cover. It's going to give us a little more accessibility here. On the very top here, you're going to have the electrical harness for your fuel pump unit. There's a little spring tab on it. You're just going to pinch that and pull that connector off. Now that's off. Go ahead and set that cover on the harness aside. You want to make sure that the whole top here is clean. We have all kinds of debris on the top, so we're going to get our vacuum, clean this up, because when we pull this out, we don't want to have this debris fall inside the tank. Then we went ahead and we vacuumed this out, and we still have a bunch of debris around here. If you have access to an air hose, this is the perfect time to go ahead and clear this out, put on safety glasses, and maybe even a mask if you want. On the top of the fuel line connector right here, there's just a little spring clip here. I'm going to pinch this here and work the fuel line off. And we do have some residual gas, so just pop a rag down there. Shouldn't be anything under high pressure because we already depressurized the system earlier. If you didn't depressurize it, well, you got to be careful because fuel can be spraying everywhere right about now. And discard of your rag properly. At this point here, we have the top of our sending unit accessible. We're going to go ahead and use our tool, and this is specific for this type of application. Let's set this up. I'm going to go ahead and unthread the top locking collar here. It's going to spin that counterclockwise. And this is where that tool comes in handy. It locks right onto that. Just makes for the job to be a whole heck of a lot easier. Go ahead and remove our tool. And a couple with our lock collar, we'll set that aside. We have our flat gasket. Now our fuel pump sending unit is pressed into our tank with a rubber seal. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work this off gently, wiggling it back and forth. It is spring loaded. We're going to go ahead and work this up. We're going to do this slowly, and we're going to let the gas, or as much of this gas as possible, run out of this. And we're tipping it to the side. It's going to allow us to get our sending unit or float level up and out. And go ahead and put that into your bucket. Now this will have gasoline in it, so you want to go ahead and be careful with this here when you're transporting this around. Now if you received your fuel pump and sending unit with the float separate, easy installation. Take the end here. You want to line this up with the side of the rheostat unit, and there'll be little snap clips right here. You just gently press inward, and you'll feel it and hear it snap into place. Now we're ready for installation. You want to go ahead and take our new gasket. There's going to be a heavy lip along the top side. That's going to be the upside. Feed that through and around your fuel pump and sending unit. Okay, let's go ahead and lower this down into our tank. You want to put the float in first. Lower this unit down inside. Make sure your wires and everything are lined up in there. You also want to take into account the position that your original unit was facing for your fuel line. So you can see that the line goes in this way here. Simply just turn your unit sideways like that. Now that rubber gasket that we put in, we want to go ahead and line that up as well. Before we press this down into place, you know, want to take our new washer here, put that inside of our lock ring here. Let's go ahead and line this up on top here. And let's go ahead and press this down and compress this unit. Now when doing this here, you want to make sure that that sending unit is lining up on the inside of the tank with that rubber gasket. What you might have to do, work that rubber gasket off of the sending unit. And we're trying to rest that inside the tank first. That might work out better for you. We're going to try it that way there. Here we go. Drops right down and around. Once that's seated inside there, you can take that sending unit, push it down inside. It just happens to line up a little bit easier. And get that washer and lock ring into place. And go ahead and get that lock ring started. You want to make sure you don't cross thread that. Make sure it's evenly installed all the way around. It should thread on easy. We're just going to double check. And it's threading on nice. Let's go ahead and get our tool. I'm going to line that up on there. We want to go ahead and snug this down. Now that we're snug, we'll go ahead and remove our tool. Pop off the yellow fuel line cap right here. Now we just used our little pocket screwdriver. We popped off our little plastic lock ring here. This just presses on over and snaps into place. That's going to allow us to go ahead and install our high pressure line here. I'm going to press this on. And you want to just give that a little tug, make sure that's locked into place and everything looks good. Once that's all set, you're going to take your electrical connector here, line this up, press it down, snap it into place. Install our metal shield here. Let's go ahead and get our 3 screws installed. Okay, we'll go ahead and snug these 3 down. Once we have these 3 snugged back down in a position, I'm going to go ahead and push that rubber grommet for that wiring harness right back into that plate. Let's go ahead and do so. All right, go ahead and cover off the unit, and let's go ahead and clean up the rest of our tools and our equipment here. With the fuel pump and sending unit installed, we can now go ahead and release our strap here that's holding our seat up in position. Just going to go ahead and loosen that. Just drop that off, and let's go ahead and let our seat slide back into position. At this point here, the seat is in position. Let's go ahead and get our bolt started. Let's go ahead and install our rear bolts. I'm going to get that started a few threads. Now I'm not going to tighten this down yet. I'm going to go ahead and install the one on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this rear bolt. And do the same for the other. I'm going to install the forward bolts here. Get that started a few threads, and then we're going to go ahead and get the other forward mounted bolt started. Let's go ahead and get this bolt started a few threads. And let's go ahead and tighten that down. Going to install your cover here. Going to install our cover here. There's going to be metal clips that pop into these metal brackets here. Feel it snap into place. Install our center slide bracket cover here. Good, line this up. Let's go ahead and slide our seat back. Now underneath the hood here, we can go ahead and reinstall our fuel line. I'm going to line this up with that green clip. Simply line that up. You want to push that on, you're going to hear it snap. Just give it a little tug, and that is nice and secure. I'm going to remove our little mats here. I'm going to install our clip here. Okay. So install our ground terminal on the battery. Let's go ahead and install our fuse here for the fuel pump. push that in, make sure it's seated. Go ahead and install your gas cap. You can close the gas cap door. At this point here, let's go ahead and prime that system. I'm going to turn the key to the on position. Let's start it up. It's going to take a minute for that to prime. At this point here, the vehicle started up, everything ran good, so it looks like we're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.